So welcome back to Third Rate Content. Today we're 1 mile north of Shawbury, and we're going to be visiting Morton Corbet Castle. We have visited it a long time ago on Third Rate Content, but we're refreshing it and revisiting it, and hopefully making a much more superior video than we did probably 5 years ago. I haven't even watched that one for years and years. So anyway, buckle up and I'll see you out here. Yeah, you can pause it if I get in close enough, if you want to read it. That's what's left today, which we will be investigating. But what it doesn't say here is it says the Morton Corbet Castle and its village, Morton Corbet, was given its name by the Corbet family, who took over this site from the Tourette family, who built the initial timber castle. Yeah, because Morton Corbet, the Morton part, you'll find that in a lot of place names around Shropshire and around the British Isles, and it's also a fairly common second name. Yeah, Morton means farmstead in the marsh. That's why it's so common. So I guess this was a marsh a long time ago. It's not that marshy now. Yeah, it's Good Friday today when I'm filming this. But happy Easter everyone, but it won't be released at Easter. It'll be some significant time in the future. Yeah, right behind me here is the oldest part of the stone castle. Obviously the timber castle was here before it, built by the Tourette family, but the the Corbets enlarged the castle in the 1300s after they got this site through marriage into the Tourette's family. I've got Tourette syndrome. No, I haven't. But this was the first enlargement, and then this grand house was built in the 1500s. Corbet family again. Yeah, so the timber castle was gradually replaced into stone, this being the initial part of it. And this process culminated a couple hundred years later with the building of the grand main house. So we're seeing both areas here, and we're going to have a look around them now. Some historic graffiti. Gaz in 91. Wow, that was a different world. Completely different to today. 1982. The 90s was as far a different country, as in age and time, as the days of Morton Corbet Castle, really, now. Being slightly hyperbolic there, but I'm just saying that times have changed significantly. In the medieval structure, you can really see the components that were hidden and concealed behind the dress stone. As you can imagine, this was a pretty grand building in its day, which was the 1200s and 1300s. Right here was the site of the Elizabethan kitchen. Yeah, and I wonder, would this have been a window here, or like an alcove, or a fireplace. I'm not 100% sure. Obviously this was a window, still is a window, just hasn't got any glass in it. But yeah, this is a sort of domestic area of the castle. Yeah, this is the main gate into what was the castle. Or should that be fortified manor house that has the Corbets had their right to crenulate. Call me random, but I always think when I hear that now, right to crenulate, I've been saying it quite a lot in the last year or so. I always think of a 1970s sitcom set in the 1200s about a group of tradesmen, you know, the builders of a fortified manor house, and their dealings with the serving wenches and other workers in the fortified manor house. You know, kind of like On the Buses, but with medieval tradesmen. Right to crenulate. That was in another universe that sitcom was made. Third-rate universe. And you really get an idea of the grandness of this place. The sort of martial grandness, because it did have that very, it looks robust, ready for battle. More so than Stokesay Castle, maybe. Yeah, this actually says 1579, and it was put on by Sir Andrew, or, you know, ordered to be put on by Sir Andrew Corbet. And it's the Elephant and Castle, and it dates to 1579. So it just showed that the Corbets were kind of keeping this part of the castle going in its original spirit quite a long time after it had been built. Yeah, just outside of the main gate, you've got all this discarded masonry, rocks. And I don't know, well, I imagine it has got something to do with the castle. But it's been lying here for a very long time now, it looks like. Yeah, post holes. Imagine for the gates or something. This one that side too. Yeah, I think we'll go and have a little look at that church after. A bit later in the video. Not 100% sure what these nooks, perhaps they were privies, you know. I think they were, quite possibly. Maybe there was a marsh or a bit of water out the back in the day. Garderobe, medieval privy stroke toilet. You got this pretty big fireplace. It's what I thought Father Christmas could fit down there pretty well though I don't think Father Christmas was really a thing in the 1200s, 1300s as we know it now. I think that would have been another fireplace, a really grand one, when it had, you know, a room for a flue and a chimney. They are massive windows though, absolutely huge. Biggest I've seen today. Just look at the size of that lintel, that timber lintel. Whew. Massive and load bearing. Yeah, so that is the oldest part of Morton Corbet Castle, the gate tower. And then there's not a huge amount left, as we saw, but this would have been the domestic area of the early stone Morton Corbet Castle. Yeah, it was Sir Andrew Corbet who started to remodel Morton Corbet Castle in 1578. You know, using bricks as opposed to lumps of rock, as that became a viable building technique. And just the sheer grandness of it, really. This, what would have been first floor fireplace, would have probably served the Lord of Morton Corbet Castle. His bedchamber would have just been on this first floor. Absolutely beautiful day here on Good Friday. just next to Morton Corbet Castle. Looks like the flax is starting to grow here. Of course, we have visited Morton Corbet Castle once before on Third Rate Content, about very early days of the channel, and I thought it was about time we gave it another visit with new technology. So I think the last visit was filmed on an iPhone 7, and here we are with the 14. And you know, hopefully Third Rate Content has improved somewhat since 5 years ago. Fingers crossed. You know I hate that. It's like a griffin or some kind of mythical entity. It's grand and imposing. Robert Corbet, carried away with the affectionate delight of architecture, began to build in a barren place a most gorgeous, stately home. And that was William Camden who was quoted saying that in 1607. As we said, Robert Corbet inherited Morton Corbet Castle in 1578, and he built the grand house. After his extensive travels in Europe, he was inspired by the Renaissance style buildings, and he had a lot of books about it, and he renovated it in a fantastic style. But unfortunately, Robert died of the plague in 1588, so 10 years after he took it over, and his brothers were left the house, and they actually completed it. Yeah, Robert did have an extensive garden in this field. Apparently there are earthworks that show traces of it, but they're overgrown at this time of year. And his brothers again finished it after his passing. Actually saw this on a recent visit to Shrewsbury Museum in the former music hall. Yeah, Morton Corbet Castle was slighted during the English Civil War, so it wasn't going to come into play in the war, but it was repaired after the Civil War. But the Corbet family chose to live somewhere else for reasons we'll find out about. And then the castle kind of fell into ruin and disrepair, so it didn't really have that a long lifespan as a stately home. What a view though, wow. And there is a spooky cellar here. Imagine it was the wine cellar, but you know, you can imagine it was something else if you like, or things happened. But we will go and have a look now, I think, because we do love a good third-rate adventure. It's dark in here, and actually not very big. It's darker, it's lighter on the camera though than what it actually is in here. But yeah, you know, I can't stand up in here, I'm 6 foot. It's about 5 foot. You know, I picked a very spooky day to come today, but you know, it's spring now, and hauntology is 12 months of the year. And it was Robert Corbet's brother who had an involvement in the ghost story and curse of Morton Corbet Castle, and perhaps the reason that it led to becoming uninhabited. Vincent Corbet, the brother of Robert, took on the castle, and during the 1580s the Puritans were being persecuted, and Vincent's neighbour was a Puritan, and Vincent gave him sanctuary. This was a Paul Homeyard, and his views became more radical and outrageous, and Sir Vincent basically cast him out, threw him out, and Paul had to survive in the woods by eating whatever he could find. But eventually, when he was at his wit's end, he returned to Morton Corbet Castle, where he confronted Sir Vincent and cursed the family and declared that none of them or their descendants would ever inhabit the house. Well, it sounds like the curse was fulfilled, because not too long later the stately home became uninhabited and fell into ruin. So you could say Paul Homyard's curse rang true. Paul Homyard's ghost is said to stalk the ruin of Morton Corbet to this day. Yeah, you can see where the gatehouse would have come out further. Yeah, I have seen on YouTube, surprisingly, Morton Corbet used, oh, touching my hair, what a surprise. Morton Corbet used in a music video, like for an extreme metal band. So check it out. It's quite atmospheric, even if it's not your type of music. Yeah, this is a relic of Shawbury airfield's World War II past. You can see that dip there. That encircled the castle right from back in the day, because it marks the line of the ditch and was part of the medieval defences. This ditch once encircled the castle and probably dates back to the first foundation of it, which was over 1,000 years ago. And also the privies that we showed over there would have emptied out into it. This is a very old, traditionally built wall, and we've got the Morton Corbet Church here, which I think we'll go and have a look at if we can. It's so green and pleasant today. It's absolutely beautiful. Just a week or two ago, I would never have believed it would have got this nice. But just look at it. Yeah, say about 2 weeks ago, it was absolutely freezing. Now I've got my shorts on, as you've probably seen. Saint Bartholomew's Church, Morton Corbet. It's a bit of an unusual gate, this. It's quite long. You know what I mean? It cannot be fastened. This looks like it perhaps came off the castle. Oh, they were. They'd been worn away by time. Yeah, and here just outside the church we've got the actual war memorial, World War I and World War II war memorial for Morton Corbet. As you can see there, that's a proper Celtic cross, you know, with the Celtic kind of bands and everything. And I'm just going to let you into, you know, a bit of history here. The Celtic cross predates Christianity, you know, the solar cross, etc. And the Christians didn't even start using the cross and the crucifixion motif until 700-800 years after the times of Jesus. So, you know, it's a little bit more possibly jumping on the bandwagon, maybe. But I mean, I'm not Christian, I'm not anything, but I'm not an atheist either. I just go with the flow, and like I've probably said on other videos, whatever information is in front of me and what I think at the time. But you know, I'm certainly not an anything theist, and I couldn't be an atheist just as soon as I couldn't be a Christian. I just kind of, I don't want to limit the magic of this world. You know, I want to increase it. Gravestones, a bookend of our mortal lives, but they too have finite existences, weathered daily by the elements and returned to their natural components over time. What do you reckon, open or closed? Closed, I think. It's open. I was wrong. Wow. Yeah, I'm in church on Good Friday. Wow. Beautiful. Cliche, I know, but it really is. There's the bell ringing ropes. This monument was erected to the memory of Sir Richard Corbet, who died in 1567, and his wife. The tomb chest originally stood in Shawbury Church, 1 mile south from here, and was later moved to its present location. So this is the chap who left Morton Corbet Castle to Sir Vincent Corbet, and the subsequent events that unfolded with the castle being cursed. Quite a newish one compared to some of the fonts I've seen. That is one long family history. I'm not even going to start looking at that, really. Sizable organ. And on the 7th day, Third Rate Content delivers us our weekly content. This is a little secret door. This gravestone has got a kind of a megalithic vibe to it. It's like a sort of dolmen. Rich Williams. Wow, I didn't think people shorten their names down like that in the 1800s. What this was, it's a ruin now. Wow, this really was a grand monument at some point, and now it's sort of neglected, and the cross has come off here. It's completely gone. Yeah, we'll all be just forgotten about one day. Not to be too depressing. No, it doesn't actually depress me, to be honest. I'm like that. Yeah, shattered monument. Elizabeth Cook. It actually looks better on the camera than it does in real life. Yeah, you know, I don't like being depressing, but I don't care what happens when I'm gone. This is the biggest one here. Wow, it's absolutely massive. Obviously, probably not obviously, but it's probably a family tomb. Horner. Can't see the rest of it. But yeah, just to get the scale of it, it's huge. There's like 3 gravestones size, well, massive gravestones lying next to each other. Just here on the north side of the church. Yeah, the north side's in shadow at the moment. But yeah, got some more sort of monuments that have come adrift. A bit like at the last Sin Eater's graveyard in Rattling Hope. But yeah, this is another Nathan Alcock. This was 1835 and 1829. Very old. It's nice, sort of fixed to the wall like this. It's not going anywhere. So thank you for watching to the end of today's third rate content. It's been a really enjoyable one here in the Good Friday spring sunshine. I've enjoyed every minute of it, and it's nice to reacquaint ourselves with Morton Corbet Castle. Really interesting site. So thanks for watching to the end. Hopefully you enjoyed somewhat if you're still here now. But don't forget to leave a like if you did enjoy. Think about subscribing if you haven't already. Thank you if you have. And please, if you're in the mood, leave a comment, because I do love a good comment, and I'll reply to them all that I'm aware of. So if I don't see you soon, I'll see you 3 times as soon. Third rate content signing out. Bye bye.